Everyone. I hope you all are keeping safe and well. Uh, we are interacting after a big gap. I was also traveling to different parts of India, and I was also thinking on how a future NGO in India would look like. What would be the shape and size of future NGOs in India? On what issues they will be working? What would be the implication of technology? What would be the implication of different compliances? What would be the implication of venture philanthropist entering into NGO sector, CSR entering into in a larger way in not-for-profit space. A lot of corporate professionals coming into social sector. So how this future NGOs in India would look like? So based on my own experience, my own understanding, my own assumption, I have tried to figure it out. I might be wrong. I might be not very correct in predicting it, but this is what, based on my understanding, I'm presenting here. And this might give all of you some ideas that how to shape your own NGOs for the future needs or for the future time, coming time. So let's go through it. So, one thing which I see, and I believe we all are able to observe this, that there is a lot of tech driven transformation is already happening. So this will also continue in future. In fact, this will take a larger shape and size in social sector. And there are few reasons for it. One thing, technology somehow ease the operation in terms of scaling it. Because if you scale, say, like uh, one organization through different physical resources, it require a lot of cost. It require a lot of things to do. Whereas with the technology, it's a bit easier to scale it. Second thing which we all have noticed, that with the technology, it also reduces the cost of operation. And third thing, it improves the efficiency of the project, primarily in terms of data collection, real time data collection, in terms of measuring results, in terms of measuring impact, in terms of understanding resource utilization. So technology gives an edge to different programs and projects in social sector. So this will take a larger shape and size in future NGOs in India. So what we need to do to meet this need or demand? One thing is, we need to slowly train our team members, our staff on different technologies which are going to be used in NGO sector or not-for-profit space. Also, we need to possibly develop some of the tech-driven programs and projects and somehow give us shape to our organization, a kind of technology inclusiveness. So that will possibly help present NGOs to be in taking a shape and space in future NGOs. So that's what we need to do. But when we are talking about technology, what do we mean by technology here? Do we mean websites? So already websites are existing. So why we are focusing this much? So website possibly will not be counted as a technology. In fact, there will be different other forms of website which will come in. When we talk about technology here, when I'm sharing about technology here, it primarily means about like a larger size of artificial intelligence, a larger size of technology which captures data, possibly the real time data, a larger technology in the form of mobile applications, because number of smartphones will also be keep on increasing, and somewhere Not much of social media. Social media will possibly go down in coming future NGOs in India. Uh, we have seen, like, we have started noticing that Facebook uses of Facebook is somewhere going down. Personally, I see that a few years back, I used a lot of social media platform, especially Facebook, uh, for different development projects, but right now, not much of it. So this is something which is going to possibly happen. Uh, Technology-driven transformation. Second thing is about rise of social startups in India. So social startups comes with uses of technology, data-driven projects, very qualified, talented people, passionate people, having degrees and talent and education from top universities in India as well as from abroad. Lot of fellowships uh, have emerged, and all these fellowships have strengthened the capacity of a lot of young minds. So we will see a lot of social startups coming in India, and people from different top institutes will be engaging in it. And this will somewhere also give a decline to a larger NGOs. Uh, because as I said, these people come with like a lot of technology, data driven, result driven kind of a thing. Also, their cost of operation is lesser compared to larger size NGOs. So this is one symptom or one possibility we will see in future NGOs in India, that rise of social startups in India. Third thing is about sustainable funding model. Right now, the funding model is primarily based on donations, and donations play a vital role. Either it is through CSR, or is it through institutional funding, or is it through HNIs and all. But in future, donors will also look for those kind of a project which will somewhere generate some kind of resources and sustain on their own. So either community would sustain, or either some kind of revenue would sustain. So that kind of model would emerge in future. Not a very charity based that every year a donation, or every 2 year donation, every 3 year donation for the same project. Possibly that will end or decline. So NGOs, current NGOs need to look into a sustainable model which would lead to sustainable funding in future. And we have seen, like as I said, that this rise of social startup is also creating a possibility of sustainable model funding models in development sector. And that's why a lot of funding would also go to social startups in India. The fourth one, which I look into, is the rise of increased volunteering space in India. So there will be increased volunteering space, and volunteering is going to increase in India. There are different regions. Two main regions are like CSR is now like taking a bigger shape in India. People also have understanding about CSR, and CSR also brings corporate people closer to social sector. So somewhere from lot of corporates, volunteering would also start happening, and then this transformation is also happening in the families of corporate people. So as I said, one thing is about CSR, and the second thing is the transformation happening from one volunteer to another volunteer. So volunteering in India will increase in future NGOs in India. The fifth one is human resource shift. More corporate professionals to the social sector would be there. Right now, we see professionals. So this is going to happen. And one reason is, as I said, even the finances. in the social sector, even the government in the social sector, even the community in the social sector. It means different stakeholders, they are looking for result driven programs and project result driven approach. Sixth thing would be, as I said, that everything will be possibly result based. Either it's your funding, either it's your program or project, either it's your any action. And this is primarily to increase the transparency and reduce corruption in NGO sector. There's a lot of saying about this happens in corruption, in the form of corruption in NGO sector. This happens, that happens, kind of a thing. A lot of compliances also comes into a place. So result based uh, approach would possibly one of the way to seed transparency, a huge amount of transparency in NGO sector. And that's why this would be a preferable mode of operating for any NGO, for any financer, for any stakeholder uh, to look into. So this is going to happen. Almost everything would be result based. There will be different implication of it, and we need to see how it's going to unfold. And these are the top three areas of work. Climate change will be there in that. Climate justice, sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, mitigation, climate finance. These are the areas which will attract a lot of attention. Sustainable livelihood is another domain which would be one of the key focus area in for future NGOs in India. And this will primarily look for green jobs, safe migration, possibly return of microfinance also, entrepreneurship, skill development, agriculture practices, focus on welfare schemes. So those kind of a things this will include. And mental health, especially after COVID, is going to take a bigger chunk in a social sector. So this is all